I'm ready now.
Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
And what can we expect?
Surprises!
Engineered by Jay Timko and produced by Eric Beatty. And without further delay, it's showtime! Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Alrighty, welcome to the Detroit Cast, Monday edition of the show. I'm Mike, that's Jay. Eric is here, Timko's here. How you doing, man?
Well, great weekend. Yeah, great holiday weekend.
Yeah? Blow it out, have any fun?
I probably drank a little too much.
Yeah.
Some might say.
Yeah, some may say, but they'll never hear it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We got together and had a little fun yesterday and rolled tape on it, but yeah, they'll never hear the light of day, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it was fun nonetheless, seeing everybody get shit-faced like we were in high school again. So, but yeah, it is the Detroit Cast, and we're back in a normal state, I guess. So, lots to get to. Shark attack. Snake showing up on the 4th, wants to come to the barbecue. Kanye going off and in a rant. Usually those are a couple minutes long where you're going to speak your mind to an audience. Nah, Kanye style, 20 minutes. Anytime you're getting booed by your fans, you're doing something wrong, my man. We also got interesting news with Opie and Anthony. Great show out of New York. Trouble in Paradise there. And Don Sterling, Jorn Vandersloot. Haven't heard that name in a while. But why don't we start with Israel briefly. Have you seen this kid that was released from jail after an alleged beating by the Israeli police?
Yeah.
Kid from Florida, I believe.
Yeah, strangely enough.
Yeah. I think his dad is from
Palestine.
the area, and his mom is from like Baltimore or something. But he was visiting family there. The whole family went. He got fucked up. These pictures of him, he's a 15-year-old kid, American high school student, says he was brutally assaulted by Israeli police and was arrested by released by a Jerusalem court earlier today or yesterday after being held without charges since his arrest last Thursday. Video clip aired by Palestinian television shows two police officers appearing to viciously beat Tariq Abu Qadir, rising sophomore from the Tampa, Florida area. They repeatedly stomp and punch his head even as his body hangs motionless. The police have not denied it is their men beating him. The teen was part of a small group participating in clashes with armed police, covering his face with a keffiyeh, Palestine scarf of sorts, and attacking officers while resisting arrest. I was watching the clashes. I was just watching, he told ABC News. I was actually brutally attacked from the side. I heard somebody screaming, and he came and attacked me, and I actually went unconscious. I woke up in the hospital. I was screaming. I was just screaming when they hit me. He's released on $850 in order to be placed under house arrest and not allowed to return to the neighborhood in Shuafat, where he was staying with family and where the incident took place. The family plans to return to the U.S. on the 16th if they get through all the trials of this. I find it very hard to believe, though, that police are just walking up beating 15-year-old kids. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of conflict right now, given that the 3 Israeli boys were found beaten and killed. So
kidnapped.
Yeah, so a lot going on in terms of the conflict. But can you imagine this kid? He's from the U.S. He's over there on summer vacation.
Yeah.
Hanging out with his cousins because he's like, yeah, let's go, man. Let's go out.
Yeah.
And they end up, in this international conflict.
Totally. The White House is commenting on it and making comments about it. And anytime you're involved in something, the White House is commenting. Not good.
No.
But if you listen to his family, they're already talking about suing. They're going to sue everybody. And he's acting like this horrible victim, just beat on. But if you look a little closer, I think it's probably, and I don't know, I certainly wasn't there, but what do you think is more likely? They just attacked an innocent 15-year-old standing by on his own, doing nothing, or do you think he was part of the 6 men throwing Molotov cocktails and pipe bombs at the police and everything else when they decided to kick the tar out of him?
Right. At the very least, it sounds like he was in a bad spot, a place he probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
You know, asking for trouble a little bit.
I just know if this would have been me and this had happened to me, my parents would not have 100% vocally and to the public talked about how innocent I am and how we're suing everybody. They would have absolutely been damn sure that I was completely innocent and made damn sure that I wasn't throwing Molotov cocktails at police in a dangerous area of the world. You know what I mean? Like, I find it very hard to believe that they just picked a 15-year-old kid and kicked the crap out of him like that. And maybe that happened. Maybe it did. I don't think so. I don't believe that.
Well, this is ongoing. They've really nest a little bit here.
Yeah.
There's such a tenuous relationship anyway.
Don't you think as a family you would have picked a different time to go visit the Gaza Strip and Jerusalem? And it just seems like of all times, and they mentioned what you were talking about, Jay. Their visit comes at some of the worst tension in years, ignited by the kidnapping and subsequent murder of 3 Israeli teens last month. The Israeli government has responded with a heavy-handed crackdown against Hamas in the West Bank. At the same time, Palestinian militants in the Gaza Strip have increased their rocket attacks on Israel. The State Department, U.S. investigation into the incident, saying, "We are profoundly troubled by reports that this kid was severely beaten while in police custody and strongly condemn any excessive use of force." Well, I think everybody agrees with that. And excessive use of force, probably safe to say, but, you know.
Yeah, again, you got to know the whole story.
Yeah.
Why was the kid there?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting half the story. You know, doesn't it just feel like that a little bit?
What are the chances, though, that a U.S. kid ends up in this? You know, of all the kids that could have been, you know, throwing Molotov cocktails, why not one of the cousins grabbed or whatever? And instead, it's a
US the slow
citizen.
one.
Right. Probably the fat American.
The ones that live there know how to get away from the police. The fat American doesn't. And look at that face, though. They did do it quite a number of them.
Yeah, they did.
Interesting. It'll be. I wonder how involved the United States will get in something like this. If this will truly be an international incident, or if they'll look into it and go, because the police there are starting to go, wait a minute, this kid is not some innocent bystander like he's trying to portray.
Yeah, we're so allied with Israel that this isn't going to be a big deal.
Yeah. I mentioned a minute ago too, Opie and Anthony, great show out of New York, and for those not familiar, they are out of Sirius XM and New York show, and they're a show like this where they really kind of say it like it is and aren't very politically correct. And another good one went down. Anthony Cumia has been terminated from the Opie and Anthony show, fired for a controversial Twitter rant the other day. Apparently, he was taking pictures in New York City, and got a black woman in one of the pictures who took exception to that, didn't want to be in the picture. And if you believe his account, which I do, she attacked him then and started just punching him. And so at that point, I don't think he did anything, like he didn't hit her or anything like that. He did have a gun. He's one of those very vocal gun owners, very proud gun owners with an impressive collection. And I think that was one of his comments. Oh shit, where was it? Yeah, graphic Twitter rant. Something about basically a legal gun owner. When a black woman took, God, I had a spot here. Shit. Sorry, hang with me. Anyway, yeah, he said something about lucky for her, I'm a legal white legal gun owner. In other words, most people probably would have just shot her ass if they're being attacked. I was at least able to reserve myself and not just shoot. But yeah, he's been fired for criticism that's mounted over a graphic Twitter rant he engaged in. Misogynistic and hate-filled. He says, Sirius decided to cave and fire me. Welcome to Bizarro World. Fired for shit that wasn't even on the air and wasn't illegal. So who's next? And they've had, he was informed via email, by the way. Sirius says, SiriusXM has terminated its relationship with Anthony Cumia. The decision was made, Cumia informed late Thursday, July 3rd, after careful consideration of his racially charged and hate-filled remarks on social media. Those remarks and postings are abhorrent to SiriusXM, and his behavior is wholly inconsistent with what SiriusXM represents. Well, he's said stuff like this forever.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not a listener, but what I hear about the show is, it's...
This is nothing new. Anybody that listens to the show hears things like this all the time from Ant. It's just whatever.
So why do they react now?
I don't know. Probably, well, that's a good question.
Twitter took it to a new universe, or what?
But he's on Twitter saying stuff like this all the time. I mean, not to...
Just a final straw.
I think his rants have been, some of the ones I've heard have been very much charged like, hey, don't call me a racist for wanting to discuss what's going on in our inner cities with the African American community. If we can't have that discussion without being hauled off and called a racist all the time, then what the fuck are we doing? You know, it's not even news anymore. When black on black crime is so rampant in some of these inner cities, it's not even discussed. It's just commonplace. That's a problem. And so he goes on rants like that, and it'd be very easy to take out of context comments that I could totally see taking his comments out of context and making it sound vicious and awful. But most people won't even have those conversations. I give him credit for even going down that road. It's hard to do. You can see it in this room here. When I go down those roads sometimes, I can literally see it on faces in this room like, oh, fuck. Oh, God, where are you going? Because it's just hard. It's hard to even discuss shit like that.
So the main word then in the Twitter rant was savage?
Well, I'm guessing, but yeah, that's one that's being plucked out here. It says the tweets that led to the firing were sent Wednesday morning. According to Cumia, he was taking pictures in Times Square when a black woman took exception to being included in one of the pictures and punched him as many as 10 times, he said. That's when he explained 5 other black men jumped in and started giving him shit. Then she punched me 5 more times. She's lucky I was a white legal gun owner or she'd be dead. Then 5 blacks started giving me shit. He then took to calling the woman all sorts of names, including cunt. But his comments on violence in the black community, referring to her and others as savages, and comments that they aren't people, that has drawn the ire of many. And, taken out of context, I would think that would draw the ire. It's really open season on white people in this day and age. No recourse. Fight back and you're a racist. The predators know this. Good luck. He snapped several pictures of the woman during the attack. He hasn't held back on his former employee either. He tweeted, "Fuck Sirius." I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he's going to end up doing a podcast.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The question is, what happens to the show? Does Opie then leave and join him?
Great question. I don't know. They've been fired many times over the years. Things they've done have gotten them in trouble. Any good show, the old saying in radio is you haven't officially started your career till you've been fired. And they've been fired many, many times. But usually they've been fired as a team, not one guy plucked out of the group. Now they've got 3 hosts, Opie and Anthony and Jimmy Norton, who's a stand-up. But Anthony's not a replaceable guy. He's not. You couldn't replace any of them really, but Anthony you definitely couldn't replace. I would assume that they would absolutely stand by their guy. That's just my opinion, but it's like if I think the same thing would happen in this room. You know what I mean? Like if somebody tried to do something, I would stand up for you guys, and I would think you would do the same. It's just like, hey, this is who we are and what we do, and that's it. So take it or leave it.
So Opie will duck out, and he'll have to pay
they're under
damages.
contract.
Yeah, well, he'd have to pay damages on whatever the contract term is, but the question is, what's their non-compete, Mm-hmm. So everybody in the industry has non-competes, right?
Totally.
So if you said, though, Anthony was doing a podcast before even, so that might... That's interesting, that Sirius was allowing him to do that separately.
Well, he started kind of like this, a home studio, and he did a few shows from his house, and he built a studio there and was doing some shows, but then there was some things, and clearly it was one of those where management is talking to the guys. I've had a million of these conversations where it's not for the air. This conversation is not for the air, and then you go have it on the air and you take the shit for it afterwards. But clearly, if you read between the lines, they did not want him having these conversations on the air about their position of him doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally removed from this. I don't know any of these guys personally. But just as a casual listener on the outside, that was my opinion that, okay, they did not want him doing this. Maybe they were going to let him do some, but they did not want it with regularity. It turns into a competition thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Drew came over here and did a show with us that day, they were fucking livid over there. You know, to them, you're going on the competition.
Sure.
So, so the key part, though, with what you mentioned, Jay, with contracts, 5 years ago when you signed a contract, podcasting wouldn't have been anything that came up.
Not on anybody's radar to put in it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But since he started doing that thing from his house, I would think that their last contract, which was probably signed in the last couple of years, may have very much included something about podcasting. Now, would that qualify as a non-compete issue, in your opinion, if they said you can't? Because
totally depends on the language. And so if Opie wants to duck out and be with him, and just go ahead and sit out the term, probably 6 months or a year, they could do that and pay the damages to Sirius for not living up to the last year of their contract or whatever. But then if it's included under the non-compete, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah,
they'd have to sit out.
Yeah, well,
but Sirius would lose a good show, you know.
Yeah, and they've got their own channel. I mean, it's like it's not. Shit. Yeah, it's a big deal, and they would have to know that these guys have been together 20 years. You can't cut one loose and expect that the whole. I mean, they've got producers and they've got the whole fucking thing. That's a big ass production and very well compensated and brings in a lot of money. That's one where there had to be some serious talk about, oh God, okay, you realize we blow this dude out.
Good chance the whole thing goes.
The whole thing goes boom. Yeah, because Jim Norton's. I would think that depending on what Ant wants to do. Now, I think they do have a contract coming up soon, so they might have very well been leaving anyways, and so this could be something underlying where the company knew they were going to be gone in August.
Oh, okay.
So take the opportunity, and you know what I mean? Who knows? Oh, is that the chick, Jay?
Yeah, that's the one.
So that's the girl.
Not what I expected.
No, me either.
A short black dress.
So I wonder what he was claiming he was taking a picture of, because that's not like who knows. But yeah, one thing that I did read from Anthony though in those comments was that he would be making full unedited comments on Monday today.
Okay.
So that to me says he's going to be going from his house and doing a podcast of sorts and discussing this. So I'm interested for sure to hear it. Definitely, and I'm really interested with what you said there about the whole contract thing and what the rest of the show does, because that's a big deal.
They'll land somewhere, right? The show will go on, whether it's next week or 6 months from now.
Well, I would think for those guys, they've made their money. I would not be surprised at all if they said fuck radio altogether. They would never go back to terrestrial radio. No way. No. So. I could totally see them going, let's just do the podcast, do our own thing, call our own shots. You know, it's going to be the way of the future. It is the way of the future. It's the way this industry's going. It's just too difficult otherwise. And everything you make, he didn't do anything illegal. It might not be popular what he said, but fired for it? I'm sorry. And you know my stance on freedom of speech and things you say, and Ant knows the law too and the rules more than anybody.
You know corporate stance on racist issues and so forth.
But he's fucking done this shit for years. This is nothing new. If you know that show, you're going, okay, where's the problem? I mean, if it wasn't a problem yesterday when he did stuff like that, or a week before, or a month or a year before, why is it a problem now?
Yeah, when you don't know all the personal interactions, and like you say, maybe it's just the fact that the contract's coming up, they wanted to stick it to him. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is there any chance there was a change in leadership above him where previous leadership just let it slide, but maybe they had recent leadership change that they got all pissed about it?
No.
Just guessing.
Yeah, no, that's a fair guess, but I don't think so. Yeah, well, I think we'll know more today. It sounds like maybe at some point, and I'm just from a radio standpoint.
Curious,
I'm fascinated by it and interested by it because their careers are very much like the Drew and Mike show kind of level. Big dog in a bigger market, and had their troubles and whatnot, and big loyal following. So there's a lot of similarities there. Anyway, I guess we'll know more when he talks about it. Don Sterling, is he going to court tomorrow? Or today? Is that today? Yeah, today.
He was supposed to. Trial was supposed to start probate court, which is a state court, and the whole.
What is that? What is probate?
Yeah.
The Sterling Family Trust we hear about.
Right, and remember, it took a turn where they stipulated that he was not incompetent. Remember that? Last week, it took a big kind of right turn, and we were like, why would they do that? And it looked like the only issue was going to be whether they defrauded him, and so forth. Well,
his team did that. His side said that they ordered their own test, didn't they? And said he's not incompetent,
and so the other side stipulated, okay, he's not, because there was that whole that whole I know, and we couldn't figure that out.
Their whole case falls apart.
Yeah, we couldn't figure that out, and it took an even bigger turn late last week. Sterling's lawyers filed a removal to federal court, which means they sort of fashioned within the state court action. You know what? This is really about his federal privacy rights, the release of his medical documents, and so only a federal court really should hear this. It's a federal question.
Yeah.
Under federal law, and so they filed what's called a notice of removal, which technically removes it from state court, puts it in federal. And the other side, really, it's a stall, and it was probably to just put the screws to the other side to have to work the weekend and respond to it. Because here we are Monday morning with them wanting to get going in state court, and Sterling's team has removed it from state court into. This shouldn't be here.
The federal court says we don't want this. It would go back to state then?
The federal court will look at it and say, is this really a federal question, or are you just trying to fashion this into our jurisdiction? Like we have power to look at certain things, and we'll do that if it is a federal issue, but we're not going to let you screw around with it and fraudulently put it in front of us. So it could be that they just remand it to state court right away, but that screws things up, because remember, they needed to get this trial done before the drop dead date for the sale,
which was the 15th.
Yeah, July 15th is the drop dead to sell it to the Microsoft billionaire
Steve Ballmer. Yeah,
right. And so this is Sterling's team just mucking up the timing.
Well, if he's right though, if Sterling is right, if Don is right, and I didn't want my medical stuff out there, how dare you? How dare you, doctors? I'll have all your jobs, doctors. Thanks, Donald Sterling, Esquire. Have a good day. Again, it's Don Sterling, Sterli. Give me some juice, please. If he's right, is this still just a stall tactic, or is this something where it's like, no, this is bullshit? You took my medical records and
then it becomes a claim in federal court, and they'll adjudicate that.
So what do you think? Do you think this goes back to state court?
I think the federal court will go, this is just a fraudulent kind of removal.
Well, if you listen to the attorneys for both Shelley Sterling's side and Ballmer's side, all of them have their attorneys on it. Pierce O'Donnell is Shelley's attorney, calls it a cowardly ploy. And federal privacy violations are preposterous because Sterling expressly authorized public release of his medical records under the terms of the family trust. Donald Sterling's 11th hour attempt to move it into federal courts is a desperate act by a desperate man, O'Donnell said. Ballmer's attorney also called the move desperate and said his side would seek to block it. We'll be filing an emergency relief in federal court to undo this last desperate and frivolous attempt to block our trial from going forward.
See, they had some poor schlep associate working on that all weekend.
All weekend. And what would they be working on?
Just a response or a motion to remand it to state court. So they'd file in federal court saying, no, federal court, don't take this. This is BS. It needs to go back to state court.
Yeah. So some poor schlep had to call his wife.
Several poor schleps.
Why don't you take the kids to Catalina Island, and I'll try to meet you there for the 4th.
Yeah. I've been that poor schlep before.
Have you?
Yes. Fuckers.
Oh, man, that sucks. Don's attorney, Bobby Samini, denied the move was mere gamesmanship, saying, we strongly feel that this important issue should be addressed by the federal court at this time.
Yeah, we just thought of this on Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's crazy.
But, yeah, well, originally, wasn't it like the 9th or the 11th when they were supposed to have we need 2/3 vote by the owners? Wasn't that supposed to be like the 9th or the 11th?
Yeah, I feel like the 11th jumps out. It's all within this week, this week time frame, and this really mucks it up.
And they canceled it because the sale was going through in the 15th. But what happened to the whole thing where remember Shelley had that stuff where it was like, hey, if he sues, I take the brunt of it so that
they indemnify the NBA.
Yeah,
that's still in play. But
this isn't a lawsuit.
Well, this is a claim against Shelley and her side, not the NBA. The NBA is just sitting off to the side, coming, watching it with interest, of course, but knowing that Shelley's going to indemnify. Wow. But you had a good point when we were talking about this last week. It's like, well, what if we get beyond the drop dead date for the sale with Ballmer? Why can't, they put this thing together on the back of a napkin in like 2 hours. Yeah. Why can't they do it again?
Yeah. Exactly. So. Which they could. But I don't think would concede Shelley is not
incompetent. Yeah, we were thrown by that last week too, and we didn't to know what and I guess we still don't. Yeah, we don't, and that is totally curious because it just seemed like that was the whole case.
The entire
case. This trial.
The fact was she was saying he's incompetent, which triggered things in the family trust. Mm-hmm. She was able to make decisions without his consent, signature, sale of the team. If he's and what they mean is some guy that's had a stroke and is incapacitated. You're thinking about some guy that's just not there.
Or a guy who gets off an elevator and is confused.
Right. Can't draw a clock. I'll get you for that, doctor. How dare you?
The elevator door opens. It's like a different world.
Excuse me, colored man. Where am I? Excuse me. Well, one of you coloreds get me some juice, please? I don't know where I've come out into a strange world all of a sudden.
Oh, Don, I love him. I love Don.
I saw some pictures of Don.
Cowardly ploy! I'll get you! How dare you, lawyer!
I saw some pictures of Don laying out over the weekend. He's like a big lump in like a black T-shirt and black shorts, just laying there talking to two African American chicks.
I was just gonna say, Jay, is it like written in a contract somewhere that he's not allowed to be seen anywhere in public unless he's with African Americans?
That's hilarious.
I'm with colored people. I'm allowed to go out now.
Go ahead, take your pictures.
I've got my babysitter. Lawanda, let's go. I'm taking you to the beach.
But he looked to be like on just one of these lounge chairs at one of these big, resort type hotel things, just rich people everywhere.
Did you see him? Yeah, it was at one of the hotels, not the Palm or whatever where he's been every other day.
Walks across the street too.
Yeah.
The Polo Lounge.
Oh yes, the Polo Lounge. Good days.
But did you see the shot of him the week before, or maybe 2 weeks before, at the fair?
No.
Remember the old Livonia Spree?
Sure.
Like he was at some county fair with a black girl.
What? He's at one of those?
Yeah, and he's walking on one of those.
I was at one of those things.
He must have been so confused by it.
Dude, his gut is hanging. It looks like he's got a beach ball in his shirt. I'm not even kidding. It's hilarious. Yeah, see if you guys can find the pictures of him at the fair
with those people.
Oh, do you guys remember that? Did you see those pictures?
I saw that.
God, it was so funny though. That's him laying at the cabana there. Some idiot taking a selfie with him. Oh, Don. Well, I can't wait to see where this goes. But it seemed like all along the whole point to Shelley's case was that he was incompetent. So if you're going to take that off the table, I would think the whole case falls apart.
I know. That's why I was interested to see how this trial went and what the hell came out of this trial, because we were just like, what is going on with this trial?
Yeah.
But now it's just delayed. He throws it into federal court and looks it up. So.
Now, do you think this was something they were planning for a while?
Yeah, just to drop right before. Yeah.
Yeah, like hold it.
Yeah, because they could have done this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't have slowed up anything.
No, wouldn't have screwed up people's weekend.
And I can see like these people are like, oh, gamesmanship. He's throwing him. He's just trying to mug it. Well, yeah, of course he is. He doesn't want to fucking lose his team. Of course. I wouldn't even blame him for that. The fact is, he's getting his team ripped away from him for some bullshit.
Of those people in his own house. I just wanted some juice and I would have calmed down. So yeah, Balmer, I'll get you for this, Balmer.
Have you heard of by the way, have you heard about Jorn Vandersloot? The latest with him? Do people know who Jorn Vandersloot is?
Yeah. He's the guy who was last seen with Natalie Holloway.
Holloway.
Yeah. In Aruba. 2004 or 5, the chick who goes down on spring break is never seen again. The mom does what any mom would do, freaks out, and it becomes an international story, right?
05, yes.
05.
No, you're all over it.
And he met her in the casino or whatever, and
one of the hotels, and
yeah, and he and 2 friends definitely were with her. They're on surveillance, and then gone.
She's gone.
Completely disappeared.
Body's never been found. Yeah. So they've never been able to charge him. He's the prime suspect, really the only suspect. And that story was amazing for a while. But then to make things even weirder, and he was such a cocky little prick, he basically gets away with murder. And then he is seen on security cam at a casino in
Peru.
In Peru with the girl who shows up dead.
Yeah.
And he admitted to that.
Yeah.
He's serving 28 years now for murdering the woman he met in a Lima casino. Well, he just got married over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
So
Eric,
happy for him.
She's 7 months pregnant, by the way, with his kid.
What?
This guy's getting pussy and a wife, Eric, and he lives in a 6x9. He's getting.
I don't even have the words.
I know, dude.
It pisses. I don't understand it.
He's living in a 6x9 by himself, and he's got a chick that he's getting pussy from, and he's married.
And we talked about the Pigman last week, who is getting play himself, right? He had like 6 sexting partners going on that day.
At least.
Yeah. And
it just obviously speaks to how bad my game must be. Because it's not like I'm not trying. You guys know I go out all the time. I have pictures of me out all the time. So it's clearly not like, I'm just a hermit where I'm staying in my house.
Did you shower today?
I rinsed.
You that is
but
just. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't even want to do that, honestly. But but because I was with you guys yesterday, and we all kind of you guys said we kind of party a little bit or whatever. I knew if I came in here with not at least showering in some capacity, some water over my body, you guys would be really mad. So
I was trying to remember at the Drew and Mike show. I don't remember you stinking or not showering.
No,
did you shower? You did then, right?
Yeah. You know what?
So what is going on, Eric?
I told you it's that I don't.
Don't just say lazy. That's bullshit.
It's that I don't have what is it? A job socially that I have to go to. This is all I do in the day.
Yeah.
So I don't.
But what, we don't count?
I don't know. I'm not that dirty. I know it seems like it, but I'm not as dirty as it sounds.
Yeah.
So you say you're trying and all this stuff, and you go out and I try. Dude, to me, not showering, you're not trying, man.
Yeah, I got to side with Jay on this one.
You're casting a little bitty net. We've talked about broadening the net, cast broadly, and you're only focused on 10s and 9s.
That's not true.
And make sure you're in game shape at all times. You never know when that person's going to.
We did our thing. I went to another friend's house, and we had a little thing going on. Anyway, I'd mentioned the showers, the fact that I had not washed my hair, and he just said what you guys just said. Because I told him, like, dude, I went out. He's like, but you never know, dude. I was like,
I'll be honest. I don't like taking a shower either. I
love showers,
but I can't leave the house without taking a shower. Even if I'm going nowhere, I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night. I have to take a shower.
And I can't wake up before I take a shower. You know what I mean? I don't know how you feel. The rest of the day, I just feel like ass.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel like my day has started until I freaking showered.
I really don't know what to tell you. Although I will say this has certainly struck a chord. Anytime I put anything on Facebook now,
they rag on you.
Everything just goes back to take a shower.
Yeah.
You know what? The more people tell me I don't want it, the more people tell me rag me for it, the more I'm not going to do it. I'm stubborn like that.
Yeah, you'll be defiant.
I'm someone who will really. But my point is, like, my game must just be that bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out there.
Well, like Jay said, you're not giving yourself a fair shake though. If you're not in game shape,
do you think this guy's that much better?
Well, clearly, he's living in a 6x9. He cannot leave ever, and he's banging chicks.
He's banging her.
Does he?
He's got sweet ears. Check him out. His Vandersloot-ian ears.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, but he's not so good-looking that he should be out. He should be out pussying you.
God, no.
You should be getting more chicks than a guy in jail.
Same with the pigman. You should be getting more chicks than the pigman.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Who is gross? The pigman is gross. At least Yoren is a good-looking dude. Pigman is a slob, and he's got random pieces of ass everywhere. I think you're not helping yourself. That's the point.
Yeah, you're right. Probably.
That's the point.
You're probably right. There's a lot. I'm not going to get too much into that. I think there's a lot of things I do that don't help myself, and I actually think the shower's least on the list. But
yeah,
I just think my personality sometimes. I'm very much. I don't play like the freaking kind of the game of like, you know, like
you need
I'm
to.
not good at that. I can't really lower myself. I don't.
We're gonna do it one day. One day on the air, we'll start soliciting women, and we'll find a girl out there who's.
I have a very strong.
We'll give you a chance, and then we'll interview her, and we'll see how you are on the date.
I think he needs to minimally wash himself, though.
I agree. I think that should
and
be
Eric,
like a.
We're not
that's
trying
a no-brainer,
to suppress your free spirit. We're just trying to
help.
You know, yeah. I think that's minimum, man.
Well. You know what? I am gonna start. I've decided. I've made this. I actually made a decision 2 weeks ago. I started working out again, and I got lazy last week, so that's why I took less showers. But when I run, I always take a shower when I'm done running.
We could tell by that pants photo the other day that he started
wet.
Working out. You know, that photo of his pants.
Yeah, it's getting ripped. He's got a 1-pack now.
I'm starting to. I didn't say I was there. I didn't say I was there. Oh, whatever. Though. What are you gonna do, right?
By the way, Vandersloot wed Lady Figueroa, okay, in a private ceremony. Of course, he's in jail. Of course, it's a private ceremony.
Oh, my God.
Prison officials prohibited video and photos, so we don't get to see those. During the midday nuptials, none of the groom's relatives attended. Wearing a tailored suit and dress shoes sent by mommy, Vandersloot told his bride, who is 7 months pregnant, that after he's released from prison, I want to marry you again. She told him the same.
Did you say how he met her?
Yes. Let's see.
She worked there or something?
Yeah. She was selling like cigarettes and candy inside the prison.
Jesus.
Imagine how many guys were hitting on that chick. You sure it's Vandersloot's kid? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, if it comes out with ears, we'll know.
Yeah. Vanderslootian ears.
Yeah, they say that she met Vandersloot while working in the prison selling candies and cigarettes and is expecting to give birth to his child in September.
Jesus.
Conjugal visits are granted to all prisoners at Piedras Gordas. So there you go. She is hot.
Are you kidding?
For a guy in prison.
Let me see.
She's a 10 for a guy in prison.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, if you're in prison, I'd hit it.
Let me see.
Peru is going to extradite him, by the way, when he's done serving his term, 28 years. 2038 is when he's eligible to come out. Apparently they're going to ship him to America then to discuss Natalie Holloway.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. What a mess. What a mess.
Any chance she got sold into the slave trade?
Natalie?
Killed? Yeah.
There were rumors of that at one point.
You think that surface at some point, right?
Well, yeah.
Like people would report seeing her. Like
yeah. I mean, that, especially around there.
Underground shit, you know, even super underground shit, you'd think some sort of report would come out. Like.
Yeah. And with that much attention and the money that would have been, that having an American at all as a bargaining chip is huge. Yeah. Somebody would have said something because she'd be more valuable.
Wasn't that his else who sailed away with her? I think that was ultimately his story. He kind of hedged around and, well, this and that, and then I didn't see her, and I left her on the beach, and then I think his final story was that he handed her off to somebody.
Yeah. I think you're right, Jay. Well, he had the 2 guys that were with him.
Yeah, Deepak and something.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra? Was that it?
Calpo brothers.
Yeah. There was something with Natalie's mom, too.
Well, he said that the charges that he's going to be brought up in the U.S. are, I think, extortion. He said something to her like, "Hey, I'll lead you to her body,
right,
if you pay me X."
Yep.
$250,000.
Did she, so she paid him then? Is that the story that she paid that idiot? No.
He was trying to get $250,000 out of the family, and mom told the feds about it. So the feds fronted like $20,000 of it, which is what he used to go to that poker tournament.
Oh, really?
Was when he got busted.
No shit. 5 years, by the way, to the day of Natalie's disappearance.
Right.
He's expected to remain in prison until 2038, then be extradited to the U.S. to face charges of extortion, as you guys say, and fraud for allegedly promising to lead Holloway's mother to the girl's body in exchange for payment. There you go. Who's that? Is that him?
Yeah, that's an alleged picture before the poker tournament. When he thought he was still hot shit, he's like, "Hey man, I got 20 grand. I'm going to Peru. I'm going to a poker tournament." That's an alleged picture of him before he fled to Peru.
Really?
Thinking he's hot shit on top of the world.
Good God.
What a dickhead.
Yeah.
Then there was that whole thing where he was taped in the car smoking pot with the guy, and he basically admitted, right, that she had been killed.
Yeah.
And then he came back. Oh, we were just joking around,
Boys will be boys.
Always do that, right? We always admit to killings when we're hanging out.
All the time.
Yeah, yesterday. That's why we can't play that show.
Don't you think if you actually killed... Don't you think if you actually murdered someone, at no point in your life from then on would someone be able to talk you into discussing details of the fucking murder?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, how dumb would you have to be?
Keep a secret?
Yeah, he thinks he's got a buddy who's really working on the inside.
I think the guy's
Hollows.
a monster, and it's just not as important. Like, someone's life doesn't have the same effect as it would have on you and I,
Yeah, maybe.
It's just like, it's like killing a rat or something, He just, I did it, whatever.
Yeah.
You remember his dad was a judge.
Oh, yeah.
His dad died, right?
His dad did die, yeah, but he probably thought he was untouchable. Because
he did, definitely. No doubt about it, he did. There's just no way that a kid at that age in his 20s should be as cocky as he was.
Well, and remember his dad, he had a look on his face like, I know something went awry here. Every time they showed him, he did not look like he trusted fully his son.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really hard to be in a position like that, and your son, because he probably did tell his dad what happened, and there's a good chance that it was an accident, that she died, and then he went, "Fuck, get this away from us," and they said that people around there would know where to put a body in the water where it would never wash up and be seen. And in a panic, like, oh yeah, she passed out, she wasn't breathing, she died. They're gonna think we killed her, and so dispose of the body. And then with no body, what are they gonna charge us with? So yeah, it's a fucked up story, man, for sure. Well, why don't we take a quick time out and come back, and I figured we could lighten things up a little bit, and we should discuss Pablo Escobar's.
Pablo Escobar, ladies and gentlemen, back in the news.
Yeah, with was it the hippos?
Yes.
And also Seinfeld, 25th anniversary of Seinfeld. 25 actors you forgot were on the show. Interesting list, I thought. We'll see if you guys remember who they were. We'll do it next on the Detroitcast.
The Detroitcast continues after this short break. The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right. Welcome back to the Detroit Cast, Monday edition. Coming off the 4th of July. Including we'll go over Escobar and the hippo issue going on down in his old stomping ground. Seinfeld, 25 years. Can you believe 25 years?
Damn.
Yeah. I wanted to mention this too. Did you see these conjoined twins?
God, those stories always just
Creep you out a little bit?
Could there be anything worse?
I don't know.
Honestly, Mike, could it be worse? Could it be worse?
No, probably not.
Got your brother 4 inches away from you your whole life.
Yeah. You talking about Ronnie and Donnie?
Yeah, I'm talking about Ronnie and Donnie.
Ronnie and Donnie, Ron and Don, Galleon. They did celebrate a big milestone. They officially outlived the original Siamese twins, the Eng and Chang bunker. Yeah, the Galen twins celebrated turning 62 years, 8 months, and 7 days old at a block party thrown by their brother Jim and his wife, along with plenty of friends and neighbors. I guess Jim had promised his brothers a party when they finally reached their goal of living past the famous conjoined bunker twins, who were a popular sideshow act in the 1800s. I had promised, you get there, we're going to have a really big bash. We've had a lot of friends and family coming in from 5 different states and local neighbors. Thank everyone for coming, and God bless you, Ronnie told the crowd. Yeah, these guys are conjoined at the breastplate to the dick and balls plate.
So they share a dick and balls?
I don't know. They don't say, but to the pelvis, from the breastplate to the pelvis. So basically, like, we went up and chest bumped and got stuck. How bad would that suck, dude? I was telling you before the show, if you and I were brothers conjoined at the breastplate to the dick and up one morning and have a dead me just laying there because I'd shoot my own head off, and you just have to carry a me around dead. But I think you'd still do better with the ladies than having me there all day, every day. What do you do when you got to piss?
Man, I hope there's a determination by their parents that, you know what, this can't be separated without killing them.
Yeah.
God, I mean, to go through life like that, right? You'd think you'd want to do everything possible to separate. And I don't afterward, whatever.
It's got to be better than having
another
separate. 200 pounds attached to you.
Dude, they must be sharing organs and stuff, you know?
They have to be, yeah. Otherwise, they would have done just that, because they have done that before, separated people.
Yeah, but they have, but they've also, I've seen stories where the parents are like, well, you know, it's risky, and we don't want to. Well, dude, risk or not.
Okay, I love doing this to you, Jay.
If my
your kids are born, and they decide they're going to give up halfway through the process of being twins, and they're together, and at to the vagine or dick and balls, whatever, they're stuck together, and they go, just looking things. We're going to lop the other one off like it's a tuma. Damn. Or they can be sandwiched together like this, and you can just take the ghouls home. Or you're probably going to lose one of them. Take your pick. What do you do?
Tough.
And we cut one of them off, and we just never look back. I would think you cut one of them off and never look back. The thing's a baby. It's an infant. It doesn't know. You can't be that attached to it yet. Right?
It's tough.
Which one's got a bigger dick? We'll go with that one.
Oh man, that would just.
What would you do? What would you and Gab do if the choice was?
There's a chance they both live. There's a chance they both
live.
It's
a slim chance. It's not looking good at all.
But there's 100% chance they live together.
Ronnie's going to be fine.
Ronnie and Donnie will be fine if you keep them together.
Odds are they're going to live 40 years, but hey, you never know. Maybe you get a miracle and they live to be 62 years and 7 days old. I don't know. But the odds are not good. Ronnie's probably going to bite it if you cut him off. Donnie will pull through and be fine. Ronnie, it's not looking good. There's a chance. Slim as it may be, there's a chance.
Sorry,
he's going to be fucked up.
Ronnie, I'm rolling the dice, buddy.
We'll think about you every night, my man.
Yeah.
And if it's meant to be, he'll pull through. But Ronnie's got to go, dude. He's in the way. He's holding Don back.
Don's got plans.
He's got big plans and a hog.
It sucks. It just sucks.
It does, but it's better than that. Just be chest bumped forever.
Here's the other thing, though. That's all you know, right? That's all you know. Yes, you
It
can
is.
look around and see the freedom that other people have, but that's all you know. That's your life.
True.
So
True.
maybe it's okay for
You didn't-
Ronnie and Donnie.
You didn't. So what's the answer then? You did kind of sideswiped it.
No, I think
Yeah,
I think
he's
you
a
rolled.
lawyer.
I think you rolled
Lawyer.
the dice. You rolled the dice.
You cut one loose.
Cut them apart.
Yeah.
And just
Hope
hope.
for the best for Ronnie.
Don't you? I mean, joking aside, I mean, as bad as it would be, as hard as that would be, don't you think that really would still be better for them anyway? Like, well, what's I don't know.
You would have to think that there's no way you can get married unless you find some other ghoulish couple that's a chick team.
Imagine just the
But I mean,
legs everywhere.
it'd be like Twister every time you were having sex. You might as well spin the darn thing and go, yeah, right hand yellow, dick and balls blue. You know what I mean? Like you'd be reaching over each other and trying to put stuff in. And
You could probably make some good money in the fetish porn industry.
well, they were in the circus.
We're,
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, right.
Your career options are rather
Yeah,
limited
they're
at that
definitely sharing organs. Look at those
point.
two.
You think?
God.
Who, is that Ron and Don?
They're sharing a torso.
They sure are.
Where is the penis?
They're a Y.
But look at how Ron's totally in control, or Don's totally in control. Ron's just hanging there.
They could seesaw. They'd be good at seesawing. They make a Y.
Yeah, there's definitely one that is
God,
in
how-
control, right?
Yeah, you would think if they got into a fight, does either one have better reach than the other?
Don would just pummel Ron. Look at Ron's basically on his back already.
Yeah.
Don's standing straight up with Ron just parallel to the ground.
How did
See,
they
now that
sleep?
looks like Don on the right there got the good, like he's standing up, but he's lugging around 200 pounds of fatso
Can
with
you
him.
imagine how bad your back would hurt? Don's
Yeah.
back. Don and Ron's back.
Is that them again?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Their legs are.
How do they sleep?
I think that's them right there sleeping.
Well, they did say that they had some bed that was specially made for them.
I would say so.
They had to take turns. One would sleep on top of the other. So they
Gosh,
finally
man.
just got
Imagine
a different
morning
bed made
wood.
up.
Morning wood, and Donnie's got vicious morning wood, and he's got nocturnal emissions all the time, and you're just waking up covered in Donnie cum every morning. Oh, that would suck.
Look at them shaving each other. Jeez. It's just brutal, man.
It is going at the same time.
Mm.
That's a tough existence, man. What do you think? I don't see an organ down there at all. Like, it looks like they're having sex with each other all the time.
No, it looks like Don's carrying around Ronnie who's straddling him, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Penis. That's what I want to know.
I know.
Or peni or whatever, I guess. Two of them.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. Look at them standing up in that one picture. They're sharing a pair of pants.
Just trying to envision them taking a shit. You know?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing. What? How do you?
How's the one guy do it? Like, I can see how the dominant one would do
Oh,
it.
one of them's got to wipe every time. It sucks, dude. One guy has no idea what it's like to wipe his own ass, and the other guy is always wiping Ronnie's shit.
Oh, the whole thing's so complicated, but not as bad as the two with their heads together. See the
You
top
think?
of their heads?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about that?
They got,
Yeah, that's-
those two got separated. I remember that.
Okay.
story.
Yeah, yep, I
Yeah.
do too. You would have to.
Yeah.
Even if the risk was 99%, you're
Yeah.
gonna kill them both. Fine.
Absolutely.
Oh man,
It's tough for
there are a
Ronnie
lot
Donnie.
of these
Ugh.
people. What happens?
Remember that corny movie, Stuck Together or whatever? It was about that.
Oh
Like a
yeah,
joint-
not the Coen brothers.
The Fairly Brothers?
Fairly Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they do a movie about Siamese
Matt
twins?
Damon and who was it? It was Matt Damon
I
and
don't
someone
remember
else
who the other guy was.
Yeah.
It was that story, but they were
Yeah.
stuck like this.
working at a restaurant. And what
Yeah.
was it? They were gonna get.
It was the one guy was like, the one twin was real like conservative, like he just was fine with like Joe Schmo job, I think, and the other one was trying to be like a rock star. So it was
Mhm.
like they were totally different personalities, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. I can't believe. I think I watched that whole
Look at
movie,
that.
believe it or not. As dumb as it was.
Who are those two?
That's the same one.
That's Ronnie and Donnie
Ron
again.
and Don, 20 years back.
Yep.
Wow.
Kids.
Oh my gosh, that's so weird. You're the girl standing between them.
Yeah. They got their military cuts.
She
You
looks
think
like
they went
she's-
into the military?
It's like she's wearing a Ron and Don sweater. Look at her.
It does.
Oh,
that
poor
picture-
guys.
In that picture, there is no way they could have sex. with somebody else.
It's all Eric is thinking about.
I know.
Man.
I'm kind of with him.
I'm just thinking about like everyday life, man. Look at these poor guys, and Eric's like, "How do you bang him? How do you bang him? Where's his dick?"
Where's the penis?
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
you're a guy, and you're gonna freaking.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of nocturnal emissions going on, and,
Yeah.
and wet dreams, if you
I
will.
think they whatever help each other out.
Yeah, beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, why not?
I mean, that's all they know.
It's a different
That's
person.
all they know. Well, congratulations to the Gallion brothers, Ronnie and Donnie, on their milestone. Proud of them.
I think that was our main point in the whole story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Greg
Really was.
Congratulations to him.
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear, thank you. Yeah, and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Well, should we talk about the hippopotamus problem we got going on
In
here?
South America.
Yes. I don't know how this happens, but remember the late Colombian drug lord who went down in a ball of flames, didn't he?
Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar. Didn't he go out in a gunfight?
Yeah, he's like the most infamous drug
Mhm.
runner ever, right? I mean, he sort of got the whole cocaine thing going.
Yep.
At his heyday, he was buying up stuff from, everything from African hippopotamus to giraffes and shit, just bringing them to his compound in South America.
This just sounds like a case of you've got too much money and you're
Absolutely.
bored. You've gotten bored with the cars, and so you want to get exotic as much as you can. And so he built basically his own zoo on the premises. And yeah, you mentioned the hippos.
Yeah, he had 4 hippos, I guess. 1 male, 3 female.
Yep. Mhm.
And after he was done, his compound remained. It got looted. I think some of the animals got taken care of in zoos and stuff, but the hippos remained.
Wasn't that where he was living when he went to jail? I think he had he built the jail, the prison he was living in,
Yeah.
and then he ended up he was still running the cartel and all that stuff, and then got killed in a blaze of glory. But as you say, these 4 hippos stayed, 1 male, 3 females, and they just got it on.
They got it on
serious.
like rabbits, and they just multiplied. And here we are, how many years later? And I guess they're all over the countryside. Escobar's hippos in South America.
In South America, they're not native to the land
No.
at all.
You know,
Fishermen are reporting seeing them like, what,
Through the
100,
river.
100 miles up the river or something,
Mhm.
just crazy distance. And biologists are just going, what, how's this going to work? You
Yeah,
know?
they're talking about castrating them
Yeah.
just to get control of it. But they said it would literally take one male,
Just
one
one.
unknown male floating around that could really keep
Just
going.
bang the whole herd, yeah.
Yeah, and keep popping kids out, and it'd be almost impossible to keep control of. So they don't.
Yeah.
Half the people don't want that. Just leave them alone. They've never hurt anybody.
Right, which is weird because I've heard this, and the story says this as well, that they kill more people in Africa than any other animal. Hippos do.
Really?
They're really, really vicious, I guess, in the rivers.
Yeah.
And
They're fast. Too.
yeah, unsuspecting people get killed by them all the time. And apparently this hasn't happened in Colombia yet. And
Yeah.
It's not known.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of time. You've got all these freaking hippos all over the countryside.
Yeah. Nobody knows how many hippos there are.
what?
The local environmental authority, which bears responsibility for them, estimates between 50 and 60, with most living in the lake at the park. But 12 are known to have paddled past the flimsy fence and into the nearby Magdalena River, and maybe many more. Conditions for the hippos are idyllic. The river is slow moving, has plenty of shallows, perfect for larger animals, which don't actually swim but push themselves off banks, gliding through the water. Moreover, the region never experiences drought, which tends to act as a natural break on the size of herds in Africa. So yeah, that would slow them down, but they
Yeah.
don't have that, so they just keep by how much sex. It's like this crazy wildlife experiment that we're left with. But they say in Africa they usually become sexually active between the ages of 7 and 9 for males, 9 and 11 for females. But Escobar's hippos are becoming sexually active as young as 3. So they're really happy.
They're ready to go.
They're digging it. And they're just getting, is that one of them, or is that the shitting one?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They're nasty, aren't they? Check them out.
Watch this. Have you seen this video?
Oh, God.
That's a hell of a butt.
Wow.
No, I always remember this because we watched this video one time. You remember that girl in the
Oh, yeah.
background? What was that? Like, as if she doesn't
Yeah.
know he
Idiot
farted.
doesn't know what that
Like,
is.
what was that? What happened there?
Well, some people I think are thinking about shooting them. That would be my first reaction, right? Shoot them and eat them. They say
they taste like
pork.
pork. Yeah. You know how much food would be there if you killed them all?
There you go.
No.
So we've covered then Johan Vandersloot is getting more action than Eric, and also the hippos now.
A 3-year-old hippo.
Yep.
3-year-old hippo. Okay, just for the record.
They say hippos are dangerous, very agile in the water, and can charge on land at up to 18 miles an hour.
Damn.
It's often said
That's fast, man.
Really
Mhm.
fast. I can't run that fast.
Hippos are responsible for more human deaths in Africa than any other animal, though it may be more accurate to say they cause more deaths than any other wild mammal. In the 30-year history of Escobar's herd, there have been no reports of anyone being killed or seriously injured, but living near the animals is inevitably a risk. I guess they're just really territorial and aggressive, so when you're talking about spitting out that many kids, it's just bound to happen. There just must be not that many people around them to get in the way, right? I mean, you would think.
Got to be the reason if it's such a problem other places.
Let's see here. They're talking about maybe building a reservoir with proper hippo-proof fences, but it would be a huge challenge to round up all the feral hippos, and it would cost an estimated $500,000. More radical solution, I think they should barbecue them and eat them. This guy isn't joking. During experiments with electric fences a while ago, he recalls someone misjudged the voltage and electrocuted one of the hippos.
Gross.
What did the local people do? They took him, chopped him up, they barbecued him, and ate him. The animal said it tasted similar to pork, as we're saying.
I think that's the answer right there.
But they don't know if they've got transmittable disease, too.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Wandering around Colombia.
Yeah. Kind of an issue. I'm glad we're not there. It's not our issue.
Right?
Don't they have zoos in Colombia? Can't they just donate a couple to each zoo?
It's almost a third world country in many parts, though. But.
I didn't even know this was actually possible. They had that on a Simpsons episode where they went to Australia and Bart left. He had a toad with him. I don't know if you remember that or not, but he had a toad with him, and the sign said like, "Oh, no outlet or no outside animal life." And by the time they left, the toads just taken over Australia. There was just like millions of them that all reproduced already.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of always thought that was just there's no way that could really happen. Like that wouldn't really happen.
Sure, it could. It happens all the time.
I guess I didn't think.
Bugs get over here from foreign lands, on international flights.
Those damn beetles, the emerald ash borer that took out all the ash trees.
Yeah.
Over the last 10 years.
Like,
yeah.
Like we're
That's
supposed to
all
bring.
Zebra mussels, coming over in the.
Mm-hmm.
The Asian carp.
Yeah. That's a great example. Those damn Asian carp they're trying to keep out of the Great Lakes, which I'm sure they won't.
No. Hell no.
Nasty looking things, eyes on the sides of their heads.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross.
So gross.
That sort of reminds me of when Derek lost his iguana.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost his iguana. He was washing his car one day, put Sid in the tree next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Looked back, Sid was gone. Sid was like probably
3 feet long.
Yeah. 3 foot iguana.
Yeah.
Gone. Couldn't find him in Michigan.
Yeah.
What?
Didn't he come back like weeks later?
No, you're thinking of the hamster that I found on my porch.
Maybe.
Another kid down the street let a hamster go, showed up on my porch like
Really?
2 weeks later. We kept him. He was a lovely pet.
Sure.
It's great.
Why didn't you give it back to the kid who lost
He didn't want it. He let it go.
Oh.
He's like, I don't want it. This thing sucks. We're like, what? You let your hamster go? Yeah, I didn't want it. Shows up on my porch.
Out of the
weeks
blue.
later.
A
Yeah.
That's
hamster.
hilarious.
Yes.
I
A
would love
freaking
to-
hamster. You look outside, you're expecting to see a chipmunk or something. It's a
Yeah.
hamster.
I wish you could have a
That's
picture of
weird.
that.
A teddy bear hamster.
Really? I remember you had rabbits too. Didn't you have
I had a rabbit. Yeah. I had a lot of
weird
hamsters and chameleons and stuff. But,
Yeah.
but Derek never found Sid. Sid Vicious was gone and never found.
That's right.
Imagine finding that shit like some old lady in their backyard. Oh my God.
Oh, you know who it was? It was Jimmy. Tree washing his car or something, and then it took off, and I think he found it a couple weeks later. It came back.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was like when our cat disappeared for 2 weeks to the day,
Oh my god.
and we were convinced that it like got locked in someone's garage while they were on vacation.
Yeah.
And then once the family came home 2 weeks later, it was like, oh, here I am.
That sucks. That happened to my cat too once. I don't know. I hated it while he was gone.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a peachy time, but what are you
I'm
going to do?
I'm just saying that sucks.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, should we mention the Seinfeld 25-year anniversary, 25th anniversary? 25 years ago, July 5th, 1989, was the date it started. God,
That's weird.
forever ago. Yeah. So in honor of that, I was reading on the website. They were just running down.
NBC probably.
No, it was actually ABC.
Oh, really? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Just when you said that, I just.
Yeah, no, it would make more sense on NBC's, but I was actually on ABC's. So they were talking about obviously Jason Alexander and Julie Louis-Dreyfus and the names there, but we've got 25 actors and actresses you probably forgot were on the show. So I know what big fans Seinfeld of Seinfeld you guys are.
God,
so
yeah.
Kathy Griffin, do you remember her?
Yeah.
She played. They don't do a
roommate.
good.
College roommate.
Okay.
She was yeah.
Sally Weaver was her
Yep.
name. Deborah Messing. Do you remember
From
Deborah?
Will and Grace.
From Will and Grace.
Oh yeah, yep.
She
One
played
of
Beth.
Jerry's.
A lot of these are Jerry's love
Girlfriend.
interests.
They talked.
Yeah.
I saw an article one time about that, about how many of Jerry's girlfriends ended up being, how that was like
Tons
a
of
jumping point for them.
Mm-hmm. Kristen Davis played a love interest of Jerry's. James Spader
Oh, I don't remember him on there.
played a childhood friend of Jerry and George's.
Robert California
Yeah.
from
yeah.
The Office. I love that character.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great.
Oh yeah.
So great. John Voight, one of the most famous storylines
Yeah.
ever, played himself when George thought he bought his old car.
That's
But
right.
did he have an H in his name?
Yeah.
Didn't he spell it
Or he
John?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Something
That
like
was
that.
it.
What kind of car was it again? It was just something real
Oh, I
standard.
know it. Fuck. I so know it because I'm good at this stuff usually, and I can't think of it right now. But
Amanda Peet, another love interest for Jerry.
Hmm.
I wanted to say it was like an AMC or
Is
something.
it LeBaron?
LeBaron.
Damn it!
There we
You're
go.
right.
Slow down, Art.
Fuck.
Courtney Cox.
Oh yeah.
Yep, everyone remembers her.
Wifey episode.
She played Meryl. Jennifer Coolidge, Stifler's mom.
Oh, I don't remember her.
God, I don't remember.
She played the masseuse who Jerry wanted to get a massage from. I
Oh.
don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I remember the storyline, but I don't remember that was her, honestly. Because I know what she looks like, but I don't remember that being her.
They say Jeremy Piven auditioned to play George in his pilot for NBC. Do you remember Jeremy Piven?
Yeah, I do remember that.
See, he was going to play the George role
Yeah,
when they were trying to
yep.
sell the sitcom to NBC.
Yeah, and that was so weird about the show. You know what I mean? How they did that whole deal.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have been. Oh, look.
It's tricky to
What
do.
a unique, to say a show within a show, and they played off that. And
Mhm.
that was crazy.
Yeah, they were trying to do a show about nothing, basically like a black hole of what it really was. Like the show about nothing, but it's just their actual lives, and then they're going to do a show about nothing about their lives inside the show about.
Yeah, that was so weird. That was
It's weird,
such
but
a
they did
unique-
it well.
Oh God, that was a great storyline.
Denise Richards played Molly, the daughter of the chairman of NBC.
Yep.
You guys remember that? I don't remember that. Molly Shannon.
Oh, she had a
played
great.
Sam.
She had a great role. Or no, not a Who am I thinking of? I might be
She's
thinking
from
of
SNL.
Yes, she had a great role. She was the one, the psycho worker. She was a psycho worker, and her and Elaine. She didn't walk with her arms. She wouldn't move her arms when she walked.
yeah.
And her and Elaine got in a fight, and the whole episode was kind of about the idea of a cat fight because like no one was going to stop it because like a cat fight.
Yes. Lisa Edelstein, probably don't know in name, but she was House's boss on the doctor show House. Remember House MD?
Yeah, I remember the show. I never watched it really, but I remember the show.
She played one of George's girlfriends. Mariska Hargitay.
I don't
She
even
was
know that name.
I have to like look because I know most probably everyone you're talking about, but the names,
she was a girl who had chemistry with Jerry while auditioning to play Elaine on his pilot. She's
Oh,
at the
yeah.
top there.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
Remember?
Not ringing a bell.
You know what, Jay? I can't even tell you how many times I've seen those episodes. I have them all on DVD, and I watch them all the time still. Like,
Brad Garrett.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah, from Raymond.
oh yeah,
Played the mechanic, Jerry's mechanic.
Oh my God, yeah.
With the Volvo, was it?
He was the one who
And
he was the one who
fucked up
stole
his-
it.
or he fucked it up or something, and it was knocking the. Was it a Volvo?
It was a Porsche, wasn't it?
Or was it the Porsche? Okay, yeah, it might
No,
be
he would
right.
never have had a Porsche.
Or Saab.
He always had a Saab. It was always like a Saab. You're right, I think. But he's the one who got real attached to it, though. He was mad. He took everything real seriously. He's like,
Yeah.
You realize, your
oil hasn't been changed in
right.
3 weeks.
And then he ended up stealing it. He ended up stealing the car, and it had JFK's golf clubs were in the back because Elaine had bought the JFK's golf clubs.
Yeah,
and
throwing it out there.
Yep, throwing it out there.
Well, that's another thing about that show is all the different plots they had going at the same time.
Yeah.
That made it really unique.
Yeah.
You know, we're coming off regular sitcoms with like one plot, one lesson at the end. You know, it sort of culminated in a lesson, and that show just blew all that up.
Oh, and they talk
and really
about
had an intricate kind of storyline going with 4 things usually, right?
They talk about that in some of those extras sometimes, just about because of the sets, how big the sets had to be, because they were going, you know, literally one scene, and they're just going up, like you said, multiple stories. So you had multiple scenes you had to be at.
Are you a Curb fan?
No.
No?
I just never got into it. I mean,
you would if you liked Seinfeld, you would. It's just one of those things where maybe, I think anyway, I have never met a Seinfeld fan that didn't like Curb.
Yeah, no. Curb's awesome, but they're I hear they're filming new episodes of it. It's been gone for 2-3 years at least, and
I
they're
just never got into it.
Yeah, I've got some DVDs of it. If you want to take them and
You should try.
watch some seasons, you'll love it, dude.
Don't show them to your daughter. Get it?
Marsha Cross. Did you guys remember her from Melrose Place?
Oh,
She
yeah,
played a doctor yet again.
Red hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Lauren Graham, another love interest for Jerry. Catherine Keener, another love interest for Jerry. John Favreau played Eric the Clown, who argues with George.
Yeah.
Awesome episode.
What kind of name is Eric for a clown?
Michael Chiklis played a friend of the gang. That's what they say. So I'm assuming the gang being George, Jerry, Elaine. Bryan Cranston, everybody remembers Bryan Cranston, right? Played the dentist, who was going to be Jewish just so he could have the... Megan Mullally, one of George's girlfriends. Terry Hatcher, they're real and they're spectacular. You guys all remember that one? Yep. Deborah Jo Rupp. You would know that 70s show. She was the mom on that 70s show. She played Katie. Well, no, I don't remember. Anna Gunn, another Breaking Bad star. She played Amy. And then Marlee Matlin played Laura, the deaf girl.
Deaf.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Go.
25 years.
It's so funny because like you watch it, and it's still on all the time, and he still makes a killing off the what is it? Just residuals from playing it over and stuff. And it's funny because sometimes I told him in my mind almost I remember it as it like that it ended in '98. So it's not that that's not a long time ago, but it doesn't feel as long ago. But then when you really start to think like in reality, what year did you say? You know what I mean? Seasons 1 and 2, right? So in reality, some of them, like you said, 25 years, my God, and it's still on. TBS every night for like an hour or plus.
Yeah, it'll be on for a while too. It's such a great show.
And I still
holds up.
Every freaking. I mean, I don't watch. It's one of those shows where every time I watch it, I'm not like, I'm kind of tired of it.
We should probably mention, since it was just the 4th of July, there's always these unfortunate stories that and we wouldn't be a 4th of July without another terrible story here. 44-year-old Detroit guy. Detroit man killed Friday night when an unknown type of firework struck him in the chest and exploded. God, can you imagine? The firework was supposed to fly in the air, of course. Instead, it flew right at him. Pronounced dead at the scene.
Wow.
Do we have a name? Have they not had a name released?
I didn't see the next story.
I don't see one here. It just says a man. Well, that's awful.
Did you guys go see fireworks this year?
I
did. Seems
do.
like Eric. Yeah,
I heard them all.
Facebook. Yeah, sure. Heard them last night too.
Yeah. Late too. Late.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, guys. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Wrap it up, man. Wrap it up.
I'm a nerd. You guys know that about me. Kind of like for that. I love fire. It's funny because I hate parades. I hate all that kind of stuff. But I love fireworks.
Did you go to the fireworks?
Yeah, I did. That's where I took my goat selfie. Was at the fireworks.
Downtown?
It was I went to
downtown was like 2 weeks ago. Strangely,
this was like
enough.
a 4-H.
That's right.
I went to like a 4-H fair thing up in like I don't exactly know the city, but by closer to my place.
I went and saw them on Lake Orion. Pretty good show.
Was it?
Yeah.
On the on the water?
Yeah, we had some
friends
with just a spot you could just sit on their hill and watch it.
Awesome.
So it was nice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've done that a couple. Tooch had a buddy, the cottage, beautiful house on the lake. We went over there one year. It was just, sit in the guy's backyard.
Yeah.
The massive fireworks right
That's
there.
the way to do it.
That is. I agree.
Are there any emails?
You know what? Before we get to emails, we should talk about the rosters for the All-Star game.
Oh,
that
yeah.
were released.
They've just announced them. Yeah.
Yeah.
What we got?
American League. We've got Miguel starting at first. Max Scherzer.
Okay.
As one of the several pitchers, and then a reserve with Victor Martinez.
Mm.
So those are 3 Tigers at this. The American League. Derek Jeter. Pure number. Has
15
nothing.
years ago.
Stupid decisions, put him in there because it's his farewell tour, but yet the game means something. Should the Tigers go to the World Series, want to win this game.
Yeah.
Home field.
Home field advantage, kind of big.
Yeah, so instead of putting a 40-year-old shortstop, starting, maybe we want someone else. But Jeter is hitting 273.
Oh, wow.
With 23 RBI.
I take it back. Those are the numbers you want for the All-Star game.
2 home runs.
2 whole home runs.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's banging
I
it.
told Jay.
That is an embarrassment, man, because if you watch any games, nobody has a problem with that. Everybody's like, well, yeah, Jeter, of course, pencil him in.
Right.
Hello, it's not like one of those games where it's just, hey, get your biggest names out here.
It's
You're right, it
coronation.
means something
Yeah.
now. It absolutely means something. You're talking about home field advantage for the World Series. You can't get bigger than that. They've made that game worth something. And to put Derek Jeter in there, if he's in for more than a third of an inning, that's a travesty.
Couple notes for the National League. We've got Kershaw, of course, for the Dodgers as a starting pitcher or as a pitcher, and then we have Jeff Samardzija, who was just traded from the Cubs to the A's. Big trade over the weekend. You guys will remember him from his Notre Dame days. Good receiver.
Yep.
Starting
Really?
starting right-handed pitcher for the Cubs, and he was just dealt to the A's.
Which there's a lot of people that think the Tigers will have to make a move, maybe make a move at the deadline because of this move.
Right. So that makes them stronger. We got Puig in the outfield, Chase Utley at second, Molina catching. So some of the same names that you've seen before. But 3 Tigers at this point. So that's good.
Yeah, good start.
Yeah.
What do we got for email? Anything good?
Yeah, a few emails we ought to mention. I think I mentioned some of these yesterday, but I'll get back.
No one heard them, and they won't.
What are you
They'll never
talking
hear them,
about,
so don't worry about it.
Tried to read them one-eyed yesterday.
That was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, so...
You just gave up. You're like, nope, there's no email.
That was fun.
Organ donation. Ryan writes in. Remember we were talking about organ donation. Mike had a pretty good theory on this. Eric and I started, we want to help people out. We'll donate organs. Mike talked us right out of it. Why do that when doctors have incentive to let you die and harvest your organs, right?
Yeah, they could save 8-10 lives based on you. It's like, he's not even close to dead. Yeah, but look how many people we could save with this one guy. Look at this Jay guy. He's in amazing shape.
It's frightening.
But he's not to death. We'll kill him. And look how many people we could save with him. Look at him. He's got an amazing skin. Just for his skin alone.
Skin.
I mean, imagine,
cut his skin off and give it to someone else.
You're dead, and they take your face and put it on some monster, and now that you're walking around kind of, and
some chimp attack victim.
I can't believe I've never heard someone make that argument, and once I heard it, it made sense. Because I always thought, like I said that time, that's the reason I did organ donation. Because I thought, be a good person, like Jay said, help some people out when you die. Yeah. But that's a very good point.
I just worry, man. I want to be given every chance to pull through.
I might change my mind when I renew my driver's license next time.
Very wise argument. Ryan says, I have the same fear as Mike, but I'm worried those guys on the scene of the accident will take your organs and sell them on the black market. I don't want the people saving my life to be concerned about anything besides saving my life, not how long they have to get my organs out. So, I think it's resonated with some folks there, Mike.
It should.
Good thoughts.
It
should. Weird sayings.
We can't lose any listeners, man. We need all of our listeners to survive the accident. We don't have enough to spare a few right now.
Right. Adam writes in. He's checking in on that deal. Remember we were talking about just stupid sayings. 2 hands on a bush equals one in an ass or whatever it was.
One in an ass.
Never eat spinach with a stranger. All that shit.
Yeah.
He said when I was a kid, say shit in one. He would say shit in one hand and want in the other, and see which hand fills up first. To this day, I still don't really get what it means. I know I would end up with a handful of shit, but I don't really know how to want in my other hand.
Yeah. I think the hand that would fill up with shit is...
Couldn't you just see
I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me either. It's kind of funny, though, if you...
See some dad, leaning over a lawnmower, changing a spark plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Want in one hand, shit in the other. We'll see which one fills up. Okay?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Damn it! God damn it!
You hadn't heard that before? For real, though? You've heard it
I've
before,
never heard
though.
that.
No, I've never heard that.
You've heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Dad
So
tell
what's
you
it
to shit in the
mean?
hand a lot?
Yeah.
What's it mean?
No, it's just the idea. Well, of course, it's just like you said, the idea that obviously, whatever if you want, like, oh, I want to go to the Tiger game, like, that's, you know what I mean? It's the idea of stuff that you want is just not going to fill up faster and shit. Like, it's not, I'm not
can't
explaining
explain
it very well.
You can't
Yeah,
explain it.
it's hard to explain. It doesn't make much
Yeah, that's I'm sure of it. It's in a Green Day song.
What song?
I can't remember, but I know I think it might be off of. I don't remember, but I'm certain of it.
All right.
I'll try to look it up. Not that we have to say it on here or anything, but I'll try to look it up just to let you know. But it's absolutely in a Green Day song somewhere.
Okay.
I think it just means you can want all day long and fucking, yeah.
That's what it means. I didn't explain it very well, but that's what it means.
Brent.
What an asshole.
Eric told where he went to Mackinac and met a young lady there.
Okay.
Young lady.
Oh, yeah.
Brenda is.
Heavier set?
Brenda says, "Please, Eric, for the love of God, stop talking. You will absolutely never get laid if you keep talking. You don't shower or use a condom. You indiscriminately screw gross, lonely fatties in Mackinac. Just no more."
You know what? I'll be honest. I've gotten to the point where my whole plan is just stuff, and I make a lot of money. I've accepted that, so I'm not worried about it. And the problem is, if I don't tell those stories, then I'm not on the show. So it's kind of
right.
There you go.
There you go.
Kind of
Shit in one, tell you these stories in the other. See which one fills up.
What is it? Half a dozen one and one or whatever
Yep.
the other.
That's why you're here. It's because I
Exactly.
know
So
you're going
if
to tell stories like that.
Right. So if I don't tell those stories, I won't be here.
Mm-hmm.
But if I tell those stories, I'm not going to get laid. So you know what are you going to do?
Yep.
We have A-Dub checking in kind of on the same subject. He says, that was the best fucking show yet, referring to last week's with Eric telling the story. He says, that doctor should have given a psych test to Eric with the rape kit. Funniest shit ever. And then he also says, doesn't Chuck look like Michael Klump, Chuck Gatica? And he attaches a picture of Chuck Gatica with his goatee. And remember Michael Klump?
Who's Michael Klump?
He was obviously from The Office, Steve Carell.
Was his
okay.
alter ego
Yes.
or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can
I see it.
I mean, the
hair,
guy with the goatee.
mustache.
Guy with the goatee.
Yeah. Yep.
Eat shit, Eric. You diseased freak. Have a good weekend, Anthony.
Nice.
Someone came up with a saying. It's funny that just yesterday, because I don't really hug people a lot of times, and I finally hugged one of my friends. I've gotten into it a lot. STDs now, and then I said, look, well, I'd have to have sex to have STDs. And my one friend that decided that I give up STDs, just fatally transmitted diseases.
FTDs.
Because there's no sex.
Right.
Right.
Right. I just have diseases by being dirty and an idiot. So.
I like it.
You know what? One last one. Toik theory, and I think this is kind of what we were saying, but I'll let John have his piece here. He says, I have a theory I feel compelled to share. Stay with me here. I graduated in 90. I'm assuming you guys, except Eric, are similar age as me. When I was in high school, all of my teachers were my parents' age or older, leaving them roughly 20 years remaining in their work career. So basically, we ended up with a generation of teachers retiring and bringing in new, younger teachers with their whole working career ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the new teaching staff fairly fresh out of college in their early mid-20s. With the changes in society today, we end up with the Toiks.
You guys have kind of mentioned that, I thought, one time.
Yeah.
The idea that maybe it was because of tenure.
I think that's what happened, man.
Because we say that all the time. This didn't exist. It's not that we didn't have game. The opportunity wasn't there.
Game.
We had plenty of game. We didn't have the opportunity because there wasn't a 25-year-old teacher in sight.
No.
Not a chance.
Yeah, so
No way.
John, you're right. We're right. I think that's what's happening, and we're
Otherwise,
seeing
we
the
would have been
epidemic.
banging these bitches.
Got that right, Big E.
All right, is that it?
We're good.
All right, well, let's kill it there. And thanks, everybody, for hanging with us and checking out the Detroit Cast. We sure appreciate it. Make sure you spread the word. Tell someone that's the only way we're going to get this thing sparked and off and running. So in the meantime, have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow for another all-new episode of the Detroit Cast.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.